I'd like to go through the parts of the KLR wine filter with you at this time. When you received your kit, there were 6 primary pieces to it. There were 2 filter cartridges, the filter body, the primary gasket, the cartridge seal, and the base unit. The filter cartridges, there are 2 of them because one is a 5 micron or a rough filter, and the other one is a 1 micron fine filter. The immediate difference between the 2 of them is you'll notice that the 5 micron is a little coarser. And that's because it's primarily designed to pick up the larger particles early in the brewing stages, whereas the 1 micron filter is more of a fining type of filter for clarity. There may be some differences in the sizes as far as the diameter between the 2 of them. Both of them are designed to work very, very well with the unit. The next piece that I wanted to discuss was the filter body. The filter body has a fitting on top that's angled inwards on purpose. This allows the filter cartridge and seal to fit snugly up against it and not compromise the inside hole of the filter unit while you're filtering. It has jar threads on the bottom and is relatively simple in design. The next piece is the gasket. This is the primary method of keeping liquids from leaking out from between the body and the base unit. Each kit that I provide has 2 of these, so you don't have to ask me for replacements very soon. I did that on purpose. The next item you'll see is the filter cartridge seal. This sits on top of the filter cartridge when we assemble it, which I'll do in just a minute. And the primary purpose of this is to seal this top hole. Even though it pressure seals somewhat against the top of the filter body, this actually provides a better seal and forces wine to go through the filter cartridge and out through the bottom hole as designed. The next piece that we have is the base. And the base is really the primary chunk of real estate that you purchased here. It's made from high impact PVC. This is a granite, and I don't suggest you throw it around the house and bounce it to see how hard you have to throw it before it'll break. But each one of these were cut from a solid piece of PVC. In fact, they were hand machined. So a person cut these for me individually, and they were inspected prior to being sent. It's an important part of this entire kit to me is the fact that these are high impact, hard to break pieces of PVC that were hand machined in this process of manufacturing. On the bottom of it, you'll notice a barb fitting, much like we have on top of the filter body. They're both 3/8, so they accept the same size hose for connecting it through to the carboy down to the receiving carboy. You'll notice that it has a cylinder cut. That allows this to sit in the carboy and provide some stability while you're filtering. You'll also notice a small groove cut out from the center. This is to allow air to escape while wine goes into the carboy. Otherwise it might seal this gravity feed system and not allow the liquid to go down into it, because the pressure buildup would prevent that. And so this allows air to escape while wine enters into the receiving carboy. On the inside, you'll see the threaded insert where it aligns to allow the filter body to be screwed in. And you'll also see a depression inside. And this is where the filter cartridge sits to provide centering, and also a method for the wine to exit after it's gone through this filter cartridge. So to assemble it, it's relatively simple. What we do is first we'll take this gasket and we'll start on one point and insert it under the threads. There's been a gap created underneath of them so that as we work this in, it actually sits inside of this little cutout area under the threads. Now as you come around to the end of it, there's a small bump, and you'll think that it doesn't fit or that it's too large for the base. The gasket was cut precisely to fit this. What we do is gently press with 2 fingers and work it in underneath that groove, and it forms a perfect seal in there. So the next thing that we're going to do is take one of the filters, whether we're using the 5 micron for our first filtering or the fine 1 micron for our second filtering. We'll take one of our filters, whichever one we're using, and we'll set the seal on top of the filter cartridge. We set it inside the recessed area of the filter base. Then we take the filter body, gently set it on, and screw it, maintaining a somewhat center for the filter cartridge and that filter cartridge seal. When it's done properly, the seal has covered that center hole. Again, we do this so it forces wine through that filter, then out through the bottom. The bottom sealed because of the recessed area, the top seals because of this little chunk of rubber that sits up on top of it. Again, it just forces wine through the sides, out the bottom. And that's the assembly of it. It's very, very simple, very straightforward, and it should cause you no issues whatsoever when assembling it. Thank you.